Welcome to the Got Any Cows podcast. If you want to learn all you can about the beef cattle industry, this is the podcast for you. My name is Seth Christensen. My company has sent beef cattle genetics to 45 of the 50 states and 12 countries around the world. I've had the chance to learn from some of the best and brightest in the beef cattle industry, and I invite you to join me for those conversations here on the Got Any Cows podcast. Hey buddy, just wanted to invite you to our next auction on November 19th at 6 p.m. Mountain Time. Go to gotanycows.com and use the subscribe section at the bottom of the page to join our mailing list. Once you do that, you'll get an email with the earliest access to the best bid prices on our next auction, which will close on November 19th at 6 p.m. Mountain Time. Well, I count myself fortunate to be here today, Jay. I'm at the Akaushi convention here in Kansas City, sitting down with my good friend Jay Robinson from Seven Oaks Farms in South Carolina. And I appreciate you, Jay, taking the time to be here and to talk and share some of your experience coming into Akaushi with other people that might be in just the same situation. And so if you would, Jay, maybe give us just a little bit of your background. Introduce yourself, tell us who you are, where you're from, and how your journey brought you to Akaushi.
Well, Seth, I appreciate being here too, and have enjoyed the relationship with you. My background is I'm from South Carolina. I've lived there a long time, more years than I'd like to share at this point. My wife and I live on a 100-acre farm.
Beautiful
with
farm,
my
by the
son.
way.
I appreciate that, and I've got a daughter, 3 grandchildren. Shout out to them, Arabella, Archer, and Xander. They've been a great inspiration to me. I was involved in a manufacturing business, owned that for many years.
Okay. What did you make? What did you manufacture?
We did wire harnesses and cable assemblies for a wide variety of industries, but our big part of our business was for like power centers, data centers, and so on and so forth.
Okay. So just like cattle, except for all of it.
Yeah. Cattle, I don't know that I knew how to spell cattle. And my wife still can't believe I'm involved in cattle. But I kind of, after I retired, I got involved in some things and then kind of got a little bored and wanted a challenge. Well,
Sure.
My gosh.
Did you find one?
Did I find a challenge? And what my goal here today is to just kind of tell people my experience. If it's like any other business, you can make mistakes, and I've made them all, or a wide variety of them. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
I started out in the Black Wagyu, just because that's my dad got me hooked up with a guy, and a great guy.
Yeah.
So we bought some, and we were kind of cruising along, and through a series of decisions that we made that weren't very good, I thought to myself, well, I got to really evaluate, kind of see where I was.
Yeah.
And I happened to meet some people, including you, that were involved with Akaushi. And to be honest with you, I like the look of the Akaushi better than I do the Black Wagyu.
Absolutely.
That's no knock on the Black Wagyu at all, but so I decided, you know what? I'm going to take a turn. I'm going to sell what I got with the blacks, and I'm going to go to Akaushi. And I did that, I want to say 3 or 4 years back. When you get my age, you don't remember exactly. But so I did that, and that's where we are today. I've got a small herd by all stretch. It's very small, but I'm trying to do the right things and learn from the right people and move forward.
Yeah, you bet. And, and it's been fun, Jay, for me getting to know you, and I count you as a friend. And that's one of the things I really enjoy about this business is the friendships I've developed along the way, and a chance to learn from other people and just a different set of experiences. Your farm is in South Carolina. My ranch is in Idaho, so we're on opposite sides of the country, and learning from different people in different geographies at different stages in life and with different experiences. And that's one of the things I've really enjoyed about this podcast is having a chance to kind of share that with other people, because people will call and ask me things as if I really knew anything of myself. And truthfully, I don't know much in and of myself, but I know people who do know. So being able to share, some of that knowledge that's been shared with me and some of the experiences I've had has been a fun part of this podcast. And I'm looking forward to hearing a little more of your story here, Jay. So walk us through, you mentioned kind of the why you transitioned from Black Wagyu into Akaushi. Walk us through maybe a little bit of the how. What did you do as far as what acquisitions you made as you started into Akaushi? And as we go through all of it, I would say mention the good and the bad. Say, hey, I did this and it worked out really well, versus maybe I made that acquisition and I might that acquisition and or any other that strategic decision that I would maybe do differently next time if you're doing it over.
Right. Well, my first experience with Akaushi was when I bought an animal from Show Me Wagyu Partners.
Yeah, with Michelle while she was there.
That was my first donor, and that was a young heifer that we purchased in an auction, and I actually went out and visited Show Me and looked at some animals and tried to act like I knew a little bit, but I really was gathering that knowledge, trying to, and Michelle was somebody that I felt like I could trust. Yeah. And so we bought the first donor there, and from there we kind of moved along, and we bought some animals from you. We have both polled and horned animals. Again, I'm not totally sure that I should be diversifying at this point, but as we've learned from other mistakes, we'll figure that out. But we've tried to buy animals that I felt I wanted them to look good.
Yeah, absolutely.
One of the things you told me and others have told me, he said it doesn't cost you any more to feed a good one.
Yes.
Than it does a bad one, or to have a calm one. I'm learning about the calm versus the wild. Absolutely. I've got a couple of wild ones right now, and we're trying to move away from that. But our plan is to have maybe 5 to 7, maybe 8 good donors. We're not in the meat business. We're just trying to sell seed stock to people, and trying to get as many heifers as we can, trying to stay away from the bulls, because I really at this point don't have a strong plan for the bull calves. Sure. So I'm developing that. So again, learning as we go. But this business, like any other business, is a business where you have to have a plan. Yes. My plan wasn't as concrete as it should be, and I'm still not totally there. Sure. But along with that plan, you have to have a group of people, and I don't recommend just one, but if you can find one, that's great. Right. You got to have people you can trust. Oh, absolutely. You have to have people that you can rely upon and know that you can pick up the phone and have access to them. It isn't like, hey, I bought an animal and you never hear from the person again, or you can't get a hold of them. Yeah. You want to do that. And what I would recommend to anybody that's getting in the business, find somebody that really cares about the breed. Right. They just don't care about what they got. Yeah. Because there are bad actors in this business too. I mean, like any. But there's a lot of really good people. And I count you as one of those. So that's kind of where we are and what we're doing at this point. We're excited about the direction that we have. We actually have some calves on the ground that we're excited about. So, and I'm like anybody else that's new in the business, and maybe people that have been in it a while. You go, well, you got some good calves coming. I may not be able to tell you all the matings at this point, but they're good. They're good.
You bet. So walk us through some of those early animals that you've picked up, some of them that you're excited about and that have worked well for you. And I guess even looking from then till now, from the time you've made some of those acquisitions up to this point in time, anything you say, yes, I would do this again, or no, I would make an adjustment and maybe go about this or that a little differently.
Right. With regard to the animals, like I said, the first one we bought was from Show Me. Yeah. Then we bought some animals from you. I believe that the first ones were polled, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. We have a JC Rueshaw 75 by 577 that looks absolutely beautiful. And then we have a Davy Crockett by 577 who's beautiful also,
You bet.
and a little more friendly than the JC75, but they're both very friendly animals, calm animals. They look good, and we're excited about where we're going to move with them. We bought an animal, a Rueshaw pregnancy, polled, excuse me. It turned out to be heterozygous polled heifer.
Yep.
So we're excited about that, and we've just bred her, or she's just had a calf.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's right.
By
That
all
polled
polled.
heifer. Yes. Yep.
It wasn't homozygous, was heterozygous, but
Still a neat
we're
calf.
doing good with that. We've got an animal that we bought, a couple animals that we bought from Jim and Kathy Moore, JMK.
Yeah. Yeah. Wonderful people as well.
One is a Ashwood Park viral by J.C. Rueshaw, Miss Rueshaw 122. I always get yours and theirs mixed up.
Yep. They're sisters,
But
121 and
a
122.
beautiful, beautiful cow now. She had a heifer calf from Alamo. I'll mention the good and bad with her. Some people would say this is bad. I don't. She delivered unassisted, 105-pound heifer calf.
A little bit of birth weight.
And I got concerned about that, but
Sure.
I talked to Michelle, who they obviously own Lag Alamo,
Yeah.
and that's very unusual for a calf to be that big. So we talked about, are you feeding too much protein or this and that? We're not. So I think it was just an outlier.
Sure.
But she gave birth unassisted.
Impressive.
She's got a very nice bag on her. She's very developed. She's from the moment that calf was born, which literally I think I got there 30 minutes after the birth. She's doting over that calf, and she just looks incredible. The other one is, and I can't remember the exact mating, but it's an 079 was the dam from Jim and Kathy Moore.
Yep. And then the side would be Mr. Rueshaw.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yep. So Rueshaw over Brook.
That is the friendliest, calmest cow that I have.
Those 79 decals, a neat one.
And she just delivered a calf, heifer calf also. So,
What was she mated to? Do you remember?
gosh,
Hate to put you on the spot there.
an old man on the spot. It's not good. I don't remember.
Sure.
But it's
fair
something
enough.
good.
But it's something good.
Oh my! But that's the one that I have that literally anytime I go in the pasture, she not only wants me to pet her on the forehead, I can go all the way around that cow and pet her, and she's just like never moves. And boy, is that something that I would recommend to any breeder. Find out how the cows are, or the heifers, or the whatever you're buying, how calm they are.
Yes. Oh, absolutely. It's a big deal.
Again, like it doesn't cost you any more to feed a good one. It doesn't cost you any more to feed a calm one.
Yeah.
And at my age, I got to be concerned with that, because these animals are big and they can hurt you.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's criteria one for us at this point. I mean, there's a series of things we're breeding for, but number one is docility because of exactly that. Whether you're young, old, or anywhere in between, if you get hurt by an animal, everything else goes out the window. No matter how great they were, no matter what else they did well, no matter how they were bred, if you're in the hospital because a big old animal decided they were coming for you, that's a problem, And so docility is number one for us at this point, because that's
Even the calm one, the docile one, can want a little too much petting, and before you know it,
yeah.
he or she has pushed you into a fence, and that's not a good deal. And going on talking about some other animals, as you know, we own 2145F, which was just an unbelievable cow. But unfortunately, she died.
Yes,
We do
a
have some
sad
calves
deal.
on the ground now from Master Chef and also Katsukari. So that's
Wonderful.
That's
exciting.
That's exciting. And,
That is
and
exciting.
then something that we're really excited about is we own an Umaru by Kahlua, which is 2158, and if I'm remembering right, that's Katsukari over Z cow. So we're excited about that heifer. She looks good. She's just been weaned in the last month or so. So we got some exciting things, and our plans are to have 10 or 12 calves a year, if that's. And I'm hoping that doesn't expand too much, but we'll see how it goes. I want to start slow and be a little more calculated. I've done myself a favor and stayed away from the paddle and bidding and in every auction, which, oh my, that's another thing. when you get into this, it's going to be real easy to watch every auction. And it's going to be real easy to say, boy, that's the next best thing. I suggest the day before an auction,
Yep.
you go out in your own pasture and you look at what you got.
Yep.
And you realize, hopefully, that, man, I got some nice stuff. Maybe I don't need to
Don't have to buy every
push
animal
that button
every
on that
time.
computer
Yeah, right.
because your ego is going to want to do it. Mark my word, that's another mistake that we made.
Sure.
You don't want to keep bidding every time there's
Sure.
the
Every
next
time there's an
best thing out
opportunity.
there.
You bet. Yep. Yep.
It's something to avoid. So that's kind of what we're doing and where we are right now.
You bet. You bet. You know, on a couple of points I would draw on, Jay, from what you mentioned there that I think are really valid points and that I agree with. You know, one would be, like you mentioned, to find people you trust to surround yourself with. And it's not everybody. And it is unfortunate, and the same in every industry, that it's not everyone that you can trust. So, I mean, ask around, spend some time around multiple people. If you run into somebody claiming they are the best of the best and everything they have is fantastic and they're the biggest and the baddest and they're trying to ram a sale down your throat right away before you talk to anybody else, you might want to talk to a few other people and just see what you can learn and get a feel for that, because it's really easy if you're brand new and you run into somebody that is going to, you know, try to sell whatever aggressive or claim to be the best across all fronts. It's easy to get in a bind pretty quickly, you know, and maybe be led astray. So I think, you know, talking, like you mentioned, with multiple people and people that'll shoot you straight, you know, I mean, if you know, and like you mentioned, talking to multiple people, you know, if you run into folks and they say, you know what, yeah, like I would recommend talking with Michelle, just like you have, you know what I mean? I say, yeah, she's a good person. And hopefully I've conducted myself in such a way other people would recommend me, you know, and things like that. But finding people you can trust, I think, is a really solid point that you made there. You also talked about having a plan. You know, and I think that's so crucial. It's so easy. And one of the most common things I see done as people get in, it's so easy to come in and everyone that comes in is excited. You know what I mean? And it's like, man, there's so many opportunities, and here's an auction, and here's a private treaty offering, and I just saw this one listed, and I'd sure like to have one of those, and you know, and it's exciting, and it's easy to kind of get ahead of yourself and say, well, this one's a good deal, and that one's real unique, and this is whatever, and pretty soon all you've got is a bunch of animals with no real direction, you know, as far as saying, well, this is where I want to go or what I want to do. And so I tell people, you know, if you can kind of start at the end and work backwards, meaning before you buy, what is it someday at some point in some way, shape, or form you want to sell? Do you want to sell meat? Do you want to sell heifer calves? Do you want to sell bulls? Do you want to sell embryos? What is it you're looking to sell? Do you want to sell black Wagyu or do you want to sell Akaushi? What is it you want to sell? Because from the moment you start buying, at some point, something somewhere is going to have to hit that point in the cycle. And if you start with the end in mind, I think then regardless of what you buy or how long or how big you decide to be or how long into the production cycle, clear out to meat or as short as embryos or whatever it may be, you're moving towards where you want to go. Whereas I think it's so easy to just really quickly acquire a real quick pile of kind of everything that looks shiny over the course of a couple of months. And real quickly, you just got a whole bunch of cows and it's, what do I do with these, you know? So
Well,
I
there's
think you made some good
always
points.
going to be something, quote unquote, better. But it's not always better.
Sure.
And quantity isn't necessarily the most important thing either. I mean, I'm sure you would agree
Oh, I do, absolutely,
that
yeah.
if you want to jump into this, you can jump into it with as little as one good donor.
Oh, yeah, yeah. One good donor can make a whole bunch of calves in a year.
Right.
Yep.
So you can do a lot of things, but get those people that you can trust.
Yeah.
And the ones that I've found are yourself, Michelle Johnson, Jim and Kathy Moore, and there's others. I've met Travis Jones recently. He's a good fella, and we're getting to know each other more and more. But one thing that he has done for me, and you have too, is that I'm able to ask a question, and he's like, I wouldn't do that, and here's why. And I want to hear that. I don't want to talk to somebody that's always going to agree with, oh, what do you think about this? I think I'm going to do it. Oh, yeah, you should. Well, if they're always saying you should,
Yeah.
they're not giving you any advice. All they're doing is helping you maybe make another mistake.
Sure.
And you don't get there quick.
Right. It is a long-term play. There's no doubt it's a long-term play.
And you don't need to be in a hurry, because you get in a hurry, you usually make mistakes.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
It's like anything else in life.
Yeah.
And the other person that's really helped me learn to slow down is my wife, because she'll say, "Don't do it." And I'll say, "Why?" She said, "Because I said so." And that's frustrating sometimes, but you know what? She's been right most of the time.
Yeah.
So go out in that pasture.
Yeah.
Look at what you got.
Yeah. Yeah.
The day before, or even an hour before that auction. And that doesn't mean auctions are not good.
Sure. Yeah.
Sales are
There's
good,
some great opportunities.
but there's
to be had.
opportunities out. But set your limit
Sure.
on quantity. Set your limit upon time of when you're going to do it, and set your limit on the price you're going to pay, and stick to it.
Yeah.
Believe me, I'm talking from experience.
Yeah.
I don't know a lot, but I do know that.
Sure.
And you're going to make mistakes. Don't be afraid to make a mistake, but learn from them.
Yeah.
That's the big thing.
Oh yeah, and I think one other thing that you'd mentioned is that it does take just as much to feed a bad one as a good one, and so I think especially you're not at all alone. Honestly, you're in the majority to say, hey, we're going to run on a limited acreage. Even if someone says we're going to run on thousands of acres, there is still a limit to that acreage, right? And if we're saying there's a limited acreage, in this case we're targeting 10 or so animals and calves in a year, 7 to 12, whatever you decide to do. You had just as well, if you're going to spend the time, money, and effort it takes to feed those 7 to 12, they just as well be as good as you can possibly make them. And I think it's so easy and so common, and I've seen it in myself, and I've seen it in a pile of people I've worked with, to say immediately, well, there was this great buy here, and there was this great opportunity there, and there were all these things to put together, and all of a sudden I only ever wanted 10, but I have 30, and none of them are actually what I want. And I think you're so much further ahead, even if it does end up being, like I've talked with several people specifically. So we're talking auction specifically tonight. There's going to be an auction that both you and I are selling in. You're selling some frozen genetics, and I have a Shigemaru by Katie Maru heifer pregnancy. And I've had people ask about that heifer pregnancy, and I tell them, realistically, just based on what her sisters have sold at as heifer pregnancies, that's probably a $20,000 to $30,000 animal. Now, the auction will set the price, and we don't know. But even if that 20 to 30,000 mark might feel like, well, that might be a lot more than what I could afford. But if we look at the actual hard numbers of what it costs to feed these things, and what it costs to maintain them, and to ship them, and to make embryos from them, and to buy semen for them, and to run them through a year over year, and then go to producing calves, you will really quickly and easily spend $20,000 to $30,000 on feed and shots and embryos and semen and shipping and everything else. So you just as well say, hey, let's start with one that's excellent animal at the base, and then let's spend our time and money and effort multiplying that, or 2 or 3, 4 or 5, whatever it might be, rather than say, hey, I've got a whole pile, but none of these actually take me where I want to.
Right. Especially if you're going to sell seed stock.
Right. Especially if you're going to sell seed stock.
Because, let's go back to the embryo example. Well, the law of averages says, and you correct me if I'm right or wrong, if you get 50%, you're
doing pretty darn good. On IVF embryos, 40%.
You're doing really good. So figure it on 40%.
Yeah.
Well, you got to figure also, if you're looking for a heifer, you got 50% of 40%.
Yeah.
So you probably got to have 8 or 10 embryos to get a heifer.
Yep.
Well,
at least 5. Yep.
Then that heifer has to be born. Then that heifer has to grow the right way.
Yep.
You have to feed it. You have to give it shots. You have to do all these things you just talked about.
Right.
Never forget the freight.
Right. Yep.
If you're buying the animal, but you're going to pay one way or another.
Right.
And if you're doing seed stock, I suggest you get the best animals you can possibly
Absolutely.
get. There's no other way around. And maybe even add in there that you need to have a fairly rare breeding if you can get it.
Sure, have something really valuable.
You don't want what everybody else has. Just my opinion.
No, I'd agree. I'd agree. There's got to be a reason. If you want to sell seed stock, there has to be a reason that someone's going to come to you instead of any one of the other 100 places they could get seed stock. And so having something that, yeah, either has some rarity to it or has some value or just some proven production ability to it, or whatever it is your target is. And everyone will be different as to exactly what it is they're chasing, whether that's a pedigree or marbling or growth ability, docility, polled gene, or any combination of the above. But if you have a defined goal, you're much better off to define. And I'd go in inverse order. I'd say, this is what I want to sell, whether that's in, 1, 2, 5, or 10 years when it's all said and done. This is what I want to sell. So this is what I got to produce. This is so in your case, let's say we need to get a heifer that is going to be in demand as a seed stock animal or as a breedable animal. So then I need to go back behind that. How do I best produce that? And I could take the same, we'll just use this as an example because it's selling today, but we could take the same $20,000 to $30,000 and yeah, maybe I could buy 5 or 6 okay animals, and that's fine. But is okay going to drive any demand to your new seed stock program? Or are you better off to say, hey, I spent the money up front to get the quality, and now truthfully, I've saved money in the sense of I don't have a pile of mouths to feed. I don't have all of these other expenses that come with a bigger herd that may or may not actually generate any more revenue.
Right.
So,
well, if you have a really, really good donor that has a really good heifer calf, I'm sure you would agree, that heifer calf at yearling is going to sell for $10,000, $15,000, $20,000.
At least.
Maybe more.
Yep, 20 to 50 in some cases.
And if you have one like everybody else has, I promise you, it's going to be less than 10.
Yep. 5, 6, maybe.
And so do the math. And then you can make embryos from that really good donor.
Yep.
And you can get there.
They multiply in a hurry.
Nothing's quick.
Oh, yeah, it takes time.
But
it takes time.
You can get there.
Yeah.
It isn't all about the quantity.
Right.
It's more about the quality.
Yes. And that goes, people and cattle, same deal. It is. It's about the quality. If you run into somebody that just says they have the most, who cares? Do they or do they not have the best?
Yeah.
Yep.
And anybody that says they have the most and they have the best, you better run the other direction because that's impossible.
Right.
It does not happen.
Yep.
In this business or any other business.
Sure.
It just doesn't.
Yep. No, and I think that's some sound advice in that set. So looking at it going forward, Jay, as we're sitting here together, you and I are at the Akaushi convention here today in Kansas City. We'll participate in the auction tonight, be here for the speakers and everything tomorrow. Where do you see your program as it sits today and going forward? What are some of the things that you're looking forward to as you build out your program? And then anything else in particular that you would like to say to other new breeders before we kind of close out our recording session here?
Well, I'm getting ready to turn 67 years old.
Yes.
So my plan is not as long-term,
Sure.
at least as far as me doing it myself. So what I'm looking forward to doing is maybe finding out, can I get a younger guy in there and have some sort of partnership? That may be an existing breeder that's out there. It may, I would hope that it would be, and somebody that I could trust, and that we kind of move forward together doing that.
Yeah.
In the meantime, I want to kind of stay about the same size that I am, doing what I'm doing for the next few years, and let's see where it goes. I'd be lying if I sit here and told you, hey, I've got a 20-year plan.
Sure.
Because
you bet.
I just want to be here 20 years from now.
Yeah.
But this is, to me, this is just another challenge. I've always been a salesman. Mm-hmm. My manufacturing business really was a result of me being a salesman.
Sure.
And I'll never forget January 6th of 1992, sitting there in that literally a 12 by 12 office with a used desk from an old preacher and a rickety chair from that old preacher that I still have, and thinking, what have I done? You're a salesman and now you are going to have a manufacturing company? Well, the good Lord took care of me. And, I tell this story many times. My wife, I talked to her about this for probably 2 or 3 years. She finally looked at me at Christmas holidays of 1991, because I started this on January 6, 1992, and she said, why don't you just go ahead and do it? If it fails, we'll move in with my mom and dad. And I thought to myself, oh my gosh, I got to be successful here. No knock on my mother-in-law and father-in-law who have since passed, because they were great people.
Sure.
And they raised a great daughter who's been a wonderful wife. But the point is that you gotta have a plan, and you gotta move forward with it. And at some point you have to say, I gotta have a succession plan.
Yeah.
But this is a challenge to me to kind of continue what I was doing before. It just looks a little different.
Sure.
Well, it looks a lot different.
Yeah.
I've just learned how to spell Akaushi, by the way.
Right.
So, that's what I'm looking to do. I want to continue this, and I am starting to think about, what's the next step? Sure. And the next step to me, really, I'm being very transparent, is to find out the succession plan. This is not something that I've got in concrete yet, but that's what I want to do. To reiterate with, new breeders, find several people in the breed that you can trust. Yeah. And you'll know when you can trust them. If they care about the breed and moving the breed forward, right, and they're accessible, that you can trust them.
Yeah. Yeah.
And talk to them about your plan, what you're wanting to do.
You bet.
They'll help you.
Yeah.
Avoid the bad actors.
Right.
Don't worry about quantity. Mm-hmm. Worry about quality. Mm-hmm. And you can start as small as you want.
Yeah.
Not many people that are new to this or not involved in this today, when I say this, will believe it, but you can start with one.
Absolutely.
You can start with one. Absolutely. And you know what? There's nothing wrong with doing that.
You're better off to start with the right one than the wrong 10, I would say.
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly. So, because like you said, you got to feed 10 of them.
Yeah, exactly.
And
Yep.
you gotta make sure 10 of them are docile.
Yes. Yep.
So, that's what my advice would be. Seth, I appreciate your friendship.
Oh yeah.
It's good to have people that you can trust and that you can be friends with, because let's face it, it's not all about the money.
No.
It's not all about the cattle. It's about, can we have relationships? Can we move those forward? The good Lord put us on this earth to have good relationships.
Yes.
And to help each other out. Yes. And that's what I want to do.
Yeah. Well, and I appreciate that, Jay. And that goes two ways. For me, it is enjoyable for me to have friends like yourself that we can hop on the phone and we can talk cattle, we can talk life, and we can see, hey, how can we work together to get you where you want to go? How can we work together? And I appreciate so much your support of both my business and just as a friend, and that is a neat thing for me as a husband and father, to provide for my family and to be able to do so by working to help provide genetics for clients like yourself, friends like yourself, to get where they want to go. And that's so rewarding for me. It's enjoyable for me to say, hey, I get to spend the day on the phone with my friends.
It is rewarding, and that's, in the end, that's what really matters.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I so much appreciate you taking time out of your schedule, Jay, and working with me as I've been scattered, getting all of this scheduled and recording with a whole pile of people here at convention. I'm looking forward to the auction tonight. I hope your lots sell extremely well, and look forward to continuing to work with you to move your herd forward. And at any point in time, if there's ever anything I can do to help you, I'm always happy to do it.
I appreciate it.
Thanks,
Seth.
You bet. Thanks for joining us for this episode of the Got Any Cows podcast. Be sure to subscribe, rate, and review wherever you get your podcasts, and visit us anytime at gotanycows.com.